Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Applied Near Life. Team Training Tuesday is the other name that I like to give it. And we are going to go to our topic. But first of all, this month, I have asked us to become interested, to be interested in matters health. Because a lot of times we do what I like to call outsource our health. Yet, if we become a bit more interested and keen to know what could be going on, we could take greater responsibility and actually learn to love the concept of feeling healthy. I'll introduce myself. My name is Dr. Esezanambasi. I am a medical doctor by training. By passion, I love to see people healthy and well. And so the name of my brand is Simply Healthier because I truly believe being healthy should never be rocket science. It should be the responsibility of each one of us. So this month we've talked about being interested in a few topics. They were quite varied topics. And today being the last Tuesday of October, we want to talk about inflammation and to ask ourselves, what is inflammation? This is actually a topic for a lively discussion, but essentially it is your body's response to any situation that could be causing discomfort or causing irritation. It could be an infection, it could be an injury, it could be stress of whatever sort. It could even be negative thinking, something within one that can lead to quite hectic inflammation. And now we know that inflammation and oxidative damage, that is actually rusting, literally rusting of our body parts, go hand in hand. Now, I just want to qualify here that inflammation is not always bad. It could be a necessary process. For example, if you cut your finger, it takes inflammation, a rush of blood to come and repair that area. So it isn't always bad. What makes it a bit difficult is when it becomes chronic and lingers for a long time. So we need to recognize that and to know that we are also in the month of October when it is the Breast Cancer Awareness Month. Now, why do I bring breast cancer in? Because it is conceivable that it could be as a result of chronic inflammation. And it is indeed believed that cancers generally are a form of the body's response to inflammation gone wrong, chronic inflammation, or autoimmunity. Those are things that I want us to discuss. But I want us to focus mainly on nutrition and lifestyle habits to manage consequences of inflammation. Because I believe that if we know how to choose, we can change circumstances. There are lots of dots to connect, and I want us to connect them together in the discussion that we shall have after this brief presentation. Now, we live in a world where we have more and more things to use, you know, there are lots of chemicals, lots of medications, lots of materials. Of course, we have cars that emit a lot of things out of them. So over the past 50 to maybe 70 years now, over 80,000 chemicals have been added to our day-to-day use. And we find these chemicals even in our food in the form of preservatives and colorants, in the water, in the detergents that we go out and buy and bring to use in our homes, personal care products, fabrics, furniture, carpets, you name it, there are chemicals everywhere. And I'm sure those are a major source of toxins. But you need to start asking yourself, what is in the stuff I'm using? What is in my deodorant? Okay? Because things like aluminium has been linked to breast cancer. And that is important because we are actually coming to the end of the month when we remember breast cancer. Parabens are known to disrupt our delicate hormonal balance. Other things like phthalates have been linked to birth defects and they are also hormone disrupting. Things like triclosan is a pesticide. It is also found in a lot of our soaps that we use on our bodies, and it can disrupt the bacteria that is supposed to live in and on us. So we're dealing with a lot, right? And all these toxins can be overwhelming, and that overwhelm translates in direct damage to the protective cell of the membrane, the protective cell membrane of each and every cell in us. It can cause fluid retention in the cells, and when the cells become bloated and swollen, they can break, literally. And this all leads to accelerated aging, what we call oxidative stress. So, what are we going to do? Because we see this a lot, don't we? We see people are gaining weight and they are not succeeding in managing that weight. We are seeing, as a result of that, a lot of disease conditions, you name them, diabetes, high blood pressure, strokes, um, respiratory diseases, brain diseases as well. Okay, all the dementias, Alzheimer's and other dementias. So when there is overwhelming and chronic exposure to things that we call free radicals that lead to inflammation, it may initially be acute, but then it translates into chronic, the body gets damaged. And there are things that will happen, such as memory loss and cognitive decline. There is an increased cardiovascular risk. Even if it is just in the skin, I'll use that as an example. The very fact that inflammation is going on in the body, we need to now adopt the viewpoint that we are an integral entity. Our body is one. All right. So we can't just split it up and say, I'll take my arm to the orthopedic surgeon and I'll take my head to the neurosurgeon and I'll take my knee to the, everything is one. So if there is inflammation happening somewhere, it is going to affect you. And so increased cardiovascular risk, heart and blood vessel risk, abnormal growth of healthy cells, which we otherwise call a malignancy or a cancer, compromised digestive function, that's a big one, right? And then loss of muscle tone. A lot of people complain about pain and weakness and achy muscles, weight gain, accelerated skin aging we've talked about, and joint pains and loss of mobility. So once we are aware, we will be a bit more mindful and more interested in inflammation. So here's a bit of food for thought. I like to think about a few things like this. Going back in history, Louis Pasteur was the man that discovered that microorganisms were responsible for infections. So yeah, he did a good thing to discover that. And he is credited with being one of the fathers of immunology. Now, immunology is the study of the immune system and how it functions. However, Louis Pasteur realized late in his life that perhaps strengthening the body rather than conquering the invading organism might prove a more effective strategy. And so our discussion is going to center around how can we strengthen the body rather than chasing these organisms. It might be more effective to strengthen ourselves. Sadly, for the past many years to this day, the practice of medicine, and I can vouch for this because it's how we were taught, has focused on drugs designed to destroy the invader. Things like antibiotics. Now, the danger that we are seeing is that resistance strains have come in a big, big way. Then antiviral agents, oh yes. Also, resistant strains develop because viruses mutate, they change their nature very, very quickly. And then chemotherapy, anti-cancer agents. They also, cancers can develop resistance to them, but importantly, they can damage healthy cells, not only the cancer cells. So that is the sad twist to all this. And for me, it's just another compelling reason for strengthening the body's ability to protect itself. Yes, so let us enlighten ourselves. Let there be light. God said, light is good, okay? And God saw the light, and it was good. The immune system functions best when conditions are optimal. And what conditions are we talking about? It's a short list. Nutritious diet, adequate sleep, appropriate exercise. And I say appropriate knowingly because some people might not know that they're doing very, very stressful exercise. It can be good, it can strengthen the body, but all the other factors have to be optimized as well. So, appropriate exercise, stress management. And then, of course, because of the modern diet that is full of gaps, there's a lot of deficiencies, we do need to supplement. And there, the crucial matter is, do you know what you're supplementing with? Is it a good quality supplement? I want us to focus on where the immune system really resides, and over 70% of it lives in the gut. And that is so crucial to know. It is also very, very important to realize that because it resides in the gut, we have a choice about what goes into that gut, right? And so this is a cross-section of the gut, and I just want to point out an important thing. We've said that inflammation is the body's response to anything that might irritate it. In this cross-section, I want you to notice that there is a single layer of cells, we call them the colonocytes, that line the gut. On this side, the upper side, is where what we allow into the gut, sometimes we can choose, other times we can't choose. But what we allow into the gut is separated from the bloodstream, which is on the lower side and where the immune system operates, by a single layer. Now, the significance of what I'm saying is that if this single layer is constantly irritated, constantly inflamed, constantly being broken down, and the body is working very, very hard to keep repairing it, because I think within 2 to 4 days, the single layer is replaced totally. But it has to have the ability, it has to have the resilience to do that, okay? And so this is a major topic that once we get it into our heads, that perhaps we should stop throwing into our gut things like uh, just because you have painful knees, you take painkillers, or perhaps there is a lot of stress. Okay, we'll become a bit more mindful, I believe. That is my prayer, but we'll talk about it. Then the other big system that I want us to remember is the lymphatic system, also known as the body's sewage system. And its main functions, immune responses, it drains tissues, make sure that the tissues are well drained. And if you remember, I said if there are things that are inflaming us, the cells tend to swell and they might even become so swollen that they break. And now the lymphatic system has that duty to drain tissues and also to transport fat. And now we have to be careful of the quality of fat that we are allowing into our system. So can you see that this is going to be a very interesting discussion? But anyway, these are parts of the immune system and the lymphatic system called lymph nodes. Very, very important. And the lymphoid tissue, there's primary called the bone marrow and the thymus, and then the secondary, things like the spleen, the lymph nodes, the tonsils, right up as gatekeepers to the rest of our respiratory system. And of course, the gut, which has a lot of lymphoid tissue in there. We call it gut-associated lymphoid tissue, or gout. And then you have it in the bladder and lungs. So all over, it is important to remember that this system is working super hard to protect us. And anything can go wrong if it isn't well looked after. Alternatively, we can purpose to look after it well so that it serves us better. And then there are parts of the immune system that you might want to know, things like cells called macrophages or mast cells that come and clear up after the immune system, after inflammation has happened, to clear it up and get everything back to normal. So now, quickly, in the next 5 minutes, let us focus on some solutions and then we'll open it up to discussion. I just want us to be reminded again, the responsibility to apply near-life solutions begins with knowing why and how to choose. Very, very important. And at that juncture, I want to introduce the Scientific Advisory Board. That is a true, unique difference that we have, because we can confidently use and share all the products and build a lifestyle and career thanks to the scientists. This board was started by Dr. Arthur First, and he has a lot of things that make him famous. He was the first one to pioneer oral cancer treatment. He founded the Stanford Cancer Chemotherapy Lab, and he was actually at the forefront of disease prevention for a long, long time. So in 1976, he founded the advisory board of Neolife, where he ensured that we got top class leading edge products. And these are members of the current scientific advisory board, and that is our true near-life difference. They teach us that nutrition is critical. It really helps a lot to know that the immune responses are as a result of the nutrition we give our body. And the remarkable complex immune system become a focus in the past few years. And yet, Neolife has been saying this core message since 1958 at the founding of the company. So I think we are well positioned to know, as we are taught by the Scientific Advisory Board, that everything should be considered at a cellular level. That is so important. And our nutrients work at a cellular level. So let's look at some of the nutrients that we have. We have the concept of core nutrition. All the building blocks of protein called amino acids are provided. And then we have pro-vitality, which gives us key foundational nutrition products, nutrients. Let me just single out a few. This one is a unique one, unique to Neolife. It's called carotenoid complex. And what makes it so special is that following the research to bring it about, out of real food, out of carotenoid-rich extracts, it can help the immune system to be boosted or to be enhanced by 37% in just 20 days. So taken consistently, it will make a huge difference to one's health. Then we have synergies. For example, everybody talks about vitamin C, but you have to be aware that a lot of vitamin C's on the market are synthetic. And our vitamin C, when paired with flavonoid, is helped to work even better by about 400%. And therefore, you get a better result and you can save as well. This is what pro-vitality looks like, but then we also have minerals, which help to enhance the immune system. Remember, we are working on the premise that if you want to work better with your inflammation handling, you need to help your immune system. That's something that Louis Pasteur discovered towards the end of his life. And then we have other products. 3 carotenoids, 2 flavonoids, 1 cruciferous in a pack called Phyto Defense gives you such an amazing immune system enhancing effect that it is really a good investment in your health. And then we also have what we call the detox nutrients. And we'll discuss them, but yeah, I just wanted to highlight them because they're very important, and we can talk about why it is important to detox regularly. So inflammation, where do we begin to look? Well, I started by saying all those toxins that have been introduced to our lifestyles, why don't we start by replacing what we buy? And Neolife was the first company to go green. In other words, to decide that, guys, let us stop poisoning ourselves. Let us create non-toxic, 100% biodegradable cleaning products. This is a good range, very effective. You just need a few to have a great effect, and yet they are sold as concentrates, so they last a long time. And the economy of them will enable you to divert your money into your health even more. So we have Super 10, we have LDC, light duty cleaner, and we have Care, and we have a washing powder. I love this washing powder with everything. It is good for machine and hand wash. And then we have skincare, 100% organic. We call this Nutrients Organic, amazing range. Then other aspects of lifestyle, I've pointed them out, but exercise is important. So let us have a chat about how we can enhance our physical activity over and above having a good diet. Physical activity, stress management, how much we rest and relax. And then this is a short list I gave earlier, appropriate supplementation. Remember one thing, variety and balance in life is what make us healthy and strong and resilient. And if you can remember that, you'll also understand why scripture tells us that we have to choose life. We've been given that choice. So let us choose life so that we can live. You have the opportunity when you come to this family to run your own nutrition business, to become successful. And I want us to never stop sharing what we've got, which is near life. Thank you. So welcome. Let us have a wonderful discussion and we'll take it from there. I'm going to stop recording and then start again.